What if I told you that you could clearly communicate your feelings and needs to another person while also being aware of their feelings and needs? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to do exactly that and help master assertiveness in your communication. I help my clients figure out how to stop having the same communication problems over and over again, and I've spent the last decade or so of my career figuring out how to delicately but successfully say hard things. Being assertive is that sweet spot between being passive and ignoring your own wants and needs, and being aggressive and ignoring the other person's wants and needs. There are 3 steps for assertive communication, and I'm going to go over them now. Step 1 is to state the issue or the problem. When you state the issue or the problem, you want to make sure that you're framing it by using I statements. So the example that I'm going to use here is that if you are trying to talk to your partner about the fact that you are upset that they have been consistently late for date night over the last few weeks, okay? So if you go to your partner and you say, hey, I've been feeling really frustrated, or I've been feeling really hurt that you've been late for our date night these past couple of weeks, can we talk about that? That is stating the issue or the problem, and stating it that way by leading with how you have been feeling and how you've been hurt or how you've been frustrated is very, very different from leading by saying something like, you're always late for our date night, or you're never on time for our date night. Clearly, that means I'm not a priority for you. Those are 2 very, very different statements, and they will likely evoke very, very different reactions. One of them is you sharing your thoughts about what the problem is or what you see the problem to be. And the other one is you making a pretty aggressive statement about the values that somebody has for you, right? If you say that you think that they're not making you a priority or that they're always late, that is an absolute statement. And it might not even be true. Are they always late for date night? Are they never on time for date night? Or have they been consistently late for date night recently? Have they not been on time for date night recently? Statements where you're using absolutes that probably aren't true aren't likely to evoke the reaction that you want, which is to have a discussion and to hopefully solve the problem. When you are stating what the issue or the problem is, you also want to have specific examples of what the issue or the problem is. So here, going along with the date night example, you want to be able to say, I'm really hurt, I'm really frustrated that you've been late for our date night recently. And you can add, we are supposed to have date night once a week. You've been late the last 3 of the 4 weeks for our date night. Or maybe they've only been late twice out of the last 4 times, but they were really, really late, which maybe led you to having to cancel date night or reschedule date night, or have a really, really shortened or truncated date night that didn't fulfill the need that you had for actually having a date night and getting close to your partner. You want to make sure that you are stating the issue or the problem clearly by leading and using I statements that express how you feel and the sentiments that you've been having about whatever the issue or the problem is. Step 2 is you want to show you understand the other person's perspective. What do I mean by this? In this particular example, you could let your partner know that you realize that maybe they don't always have control over their schedule. If their boss calls them in to have to do something really, really last minute, or it has a short fuse and they have to get it done by the end of the evening, they might not have control over that. And it might lead to your date night being late. Or maybe it's their busy season and they have a lot of things that they have to do and work just runs over typically a pretty fair amount during this particular time of year. Whatever the reason is, you can let them know that you understand their perspective and that it's also not okay with you, or that you are feeling really, really hurt that they have been late for date night. So this is an instance where 2 things can be true. You can let them know that you recognize that maybe they don't have control over their schedule, or maybe it is the busy season, and you understand that they have to work a lot and that they might have to work late. And you also are frustrated and hurt by the fact that they keep being late for date night. So both of those things can be true at the same time, and it's really important to recognize and acknowledge that fact. You can show that you understand their perspective And you can also want to solve the issue or the problem of them having been consistently late for date night 3 out of the last 4 date nights that you've had, or them having been really, really late for date night 2 out of the last 4 date nights that you've had. Both of those things can be true. Then we get to step 3, where you need to state what you need or what you are asking for in specific behavioral terms, and you need to ask for their thoughts or opinion on whatever proposal you have to solve the problem. You want to make them an offer or talk through some of the potential solutions that you've come up with that might help solve the problem. And you want to ask them for their thoughts about the offer that you made or the potential solutions that you've just brought up. You want to clearly state to them what you need or what you are wanting, and you want to invite them into helping you figure that out, to solving that problem. So you need to determine, is it that you want or you need for them to be on time for your date night? Or is it that you need for them to let you know if they're going to be running 5 or 10 minutes late for date night and that's still okay? Or do you need them to let you know that they're running 5 or 10 minutes late for date night and that just does not work for you? You need for them to be on time. Otherwise, you would rather not have date night at all. You need to figure out for yourself what it is that you are wanting from them so that when you come to them, you can state what you need from them in specific behavioral terms and then invite them into the conversation so that you can find a win-win for both of you. So what is the underlying need that you have that needs to be addressed? If it's that you want to know that they are prioritizing you and that you are a priority and that date night is a priority, how does that manifest? How does that show up? How can they do that? You want to invite them into the process for figuring out how to get your needs met while also recognizing that they have their own wants and needs and feelings, and that they might have their own constraints on what they are able to give you in terms of specific actionable items. But you need to have a discussion and work out together what it is that you are wanting and needing and how they can then help give that to you in a way that works for them too. You want to have this discussion and you want to make them an offer or propose solutions and then ask for their thoughts on those solutions or that offer, because you want to make sure that everybody has buy-in, that everybody is actively agreeing to whatever solution it is that you come up with, which increases the likelihood that the solution will stick and that it will solve the problem. So these are the 3 things that you need to do in order to help master assertiveness in your communication. Step 1, you want to state what the issue or the problem is, and you want to do that by using I statements and expressing your feelings. If this sounds difficult for you, or if you're not sure, like, oh, I don't even know what I'm feeling, right? There's a lot of pre-work that you can do before you have this conversation. And I have a workshop on preparing for difficult conversations. Step 1 of that is feeling your feelings. Step 2 of that is actually processing your feelings and figuring out what exactly it is that you want. But you need to do that pre-work so that you can come to this particular conversation and that you can do step 1, which is stating what the issue or the problem is and articulating that by expressing your feelings about the issue or the problem. Are you feeling hurt? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling upset? Whatever the feeling is, that's what you need to lead with when you state what the issue or the problem is. So I feel hurt that you were late for our date night 3 out of the last 4 times, or I'm feeling really frustrated that you've been late for our date night again after we talked about it before. Whatever the case may be, you want to be able to state what the issue or the problem is by leading with your feelings about whatever the issue or the problem is and using I statements. And then we get into step 2, which is that you want to show you understand the other person's perspective. Again, this does not mean that you sacrifice whatever your wants and needs are. You are balancing your wants and needs with the wants and needs of the other person. You can let them know that you understand where they are coming from, while also not sacrificing your own wants and needs and wanting to come to a solution or an agreement to help solve whatever the issue or the problem was that you stated back in step 1. Again, step 2 is an example of 2 things being true at the same time. You can show that you understand the other person's perspective, and you can also still want to have the problem or the issue that you brought up in step 1 successfully addressed. And then there's step 3, which is stating what you need in specific behavioral terms and inviting the other person into that conversation so that you can find a win-win to get your wants and your needs met, right? This is not just a conversation. This is you guys coming to an agreement that works for both of you about what it is that you are going to do jointly to solve the problem. Or if maybe it's only one of you that needs to have any sort of changed behavior, then it's what is that one person going to do in order to help solve the problem. But they also get to have input into whatever it is the solution is that you guys come up with to solve the problem. Again, step 1, stating what the issue or the problem is. Step 2, showing that you understand the other person's perspective. And then step 3 is stating what you need in specific behavioral terms and inviting the other person into that conversation. If any of those sound really, really difficult, or maybe you'd like some help in terms of, okay, well, how do I figure out what the actual problem is or how I'm feeling about the actual problem, let me know if you'd like me to dive deeper into any one specific aspect that I just mentioned. I'd be happy to make another video about it or, respond in the comments if you have a question. But let me know what you think. If you've got any questions, if you've got any concerns, if you've got any specific situations that you'd like for me to help you address, drop it in the comment below. I will happily make another video about it. And good luck, and I wish you all more effective, successful communication.